Sorry couldn't be with you guys again today. I'm still recovering from being sick the other day. What I plan on doing is making a few series of short videos on how to do the problems in 8.5 for you guys to watch and to copy down in the notes. And then when I return, I'll answer your questions on it. So this is example 3 on page 38. So a ski club charters a bus for a ski trip at a cost of $720. When 4 non-members accept invitations from the club to go on the trip, the bus fare decreases by $6. How many club members are going on the trip? So we have the members times the price has to equal $720. The first thing we're going to do here is we are going to solve for one of the variables. So I think the easiest one to solve for is the price. So we have $720 divided by the members equals the price. So now we have to use the other information to come up with another equation. So when 4 non-members accept invitations from the club to go on the trip, the bus fare decreases by $6. So that means the members plus 4 times the new bus fare, which would be the price minus $6, still has to equal $720. So now we can take what P equals up here and we can replace it for P in our equation that we just wrote. So we have M plus 4 times 720 over M minus 6 equals 720. Now if we go ahead and FOIL this left-hand side here, we'll have 720 plus 2880 over M minus 6M minus 24 equals 720. And now we're going to go ahead and clean this up. If we subtract 720 from both sides, they cancel out. So we're left with 2880 over M minus 6M minus 24 will equal 0. But this isn't so easy to solve for. So if we multiply everything by M, that will cancel out the M in the denominator. So we'll get 2880 minus 6M squared minus 24M equals 0. But now because M squared is negative, we're going to move it to the other side. So we have 0 equals 6M squared plus 24M minus 2880. And now we're going to go ahead and use the quadratic formula here to solve for M. So when we do that, we're going to have M equals negative 24 plus or minus the square root of 24 squared minus 4 times 6 times negative 2880. All divided by 2 times 6. When we solve for this, all right, we will get negative 24 plus or minus the square root of 69,960. So 69,696. And the square root of that is 24. Oops, sorry, not 24. It would be 24, negative 24 minus the square root of that. So that would be 240 over 12, giving us M equals 20. So now that we have M, we don't have to go back and plug it in because when we defined M at the beginning, M was our members. So the answer to this is 20. All right. Okay, for this problem, an office contains 2 copy machines. Machine B is known to take 12 minutes longer than Machine A to copy the company's monthly report. Using both machines together, it takes 8 minutes to produce the report. how long would it take each machine alone to produce a report? So, one of the most important equations that we have in math, especially in Algebra 2, that I found is this one. Distance equals rate times time. But instead of distance equals rate times time, we have to think about it a little differently. So it's no longer going to be distance, it's going to be a task will be equal to the rate it takes to complete that task times the time it takes to actually complete the task. So now we have machine A machine B, and then I'll write together. So 1 monthly report will equal the rate of machine A times the time of machine A. For machine B will be 1 report will take the rate of machine B times the time of machine B. And then together will be 1 report will be the rate of machine A plus the rate of machine B times the time. Now, in this, we know a few things. 1, in machine A, okay, we are going to solve for time. And I'll explain why in a second. All right? And then in together, we know that the time it takes is 8 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and fill that in. Now, with together, if I divide by 8, I'll get 1/8 equals RA plus RB. If I go ahead and subtract RA, I'll get 1/8 minus RA equals RB. Now let's go back to why did I solve for T on machine A, and why did I solve for the rate B in the together? Well, it has to do with the problem. So in machine B is known to take 12 minutes longer in machine A. So that is time. So I wanted to solve in machine A for time so that it would reduce the number of variables I have when I plug it into machine B. And then since I have information about machine B, in the together problem, I wanted to solve for the rate of machine B. Again, to reduce everything to have fewer variables. Now notice I have RA in both of my boxes. So when I go to plug it in here, okay, the time it takes to complete 1 monthly report for machine B will be my rate of B, which we now know is 1/8 minus RA times, okay, now we know it takes 12 minutes longer than machine A, so the machine A time was 1 over RA, so we have 1 over RA plus 12. Now if we go ahead and FOIL that, I'll get 1 equals 1 over 8 RA minus 1 plus 3/2 or 1.5 minus 12 RA. So if I go ahead and clean this up and set it equal to 0, I'll get 0 equals 1 over 8 RA minus 1/2 minus 12 RA. But now because I have RA in the denominator, just like the last problem, I need to multiply everything by 8 RA. And the reason why I'm doing it by 8 RA is so that I get rid of all the fractions here. So I'll have 0 equals 1 minus 4 RA minus 96 RA squared. Now again, what I'll need to do is I will need to make this positive, this RA squared, so that my life's a little bit easier. So I'm going to go ahead and use this space over here. So it's going to give me 96 RA squared plus 4RA minus 1 equals 0. Now, if I go ahead and use my quadratic formula on that, I'll get RA is equal to negative 4 plus or minus the square root of 4 squared minus 4 times 96 times negative 1, all over 2 times 96. So when I go ahead and do this, on the inside I'll get 4 squared minus 4 times 96 times negative 1. Well, that turns out to be 400, and the square root of 400 is 20. All right, so I'll have 20, and then I'll have the negative 4 in front, so I'll have negative 4 plus 20. Okay, that will give me 16. Okay, and then if I do 16 divided by 2 times 96, that will give me 1/12. So I have RA equals 1/12. And I'll circle that. Now the question asks, how much time does it take? So if I do, for machine A, if I do 1 divided by 1/12, I will get TA, which is the time it takes that, which would be 12 minutes. And now that I have that, I can go back and use this little fact, meaning that it'll take me 24 minutes because it takes 12 minutes longer. Okay? And these numbers make sense because, one, it's going to be a little bit faster, all right, using both machines, okay? All right? Because machine B is considerably slower than machine A, and it makes sense because 8 minutes is underneath 12 minutes and 24 minutes. Okay. Last but not least, we have a car dealer buys a fleet of cars from a car rental agency for a total of $120,000. I'm going to stop there. I think you know where we're going with this. We're going to write the number of cars, that's C, times the price per car, that's P, equals 120,000. Now, I'm going to go ahead and, just like the first problem we did today, I'm going to solve for a variable. Okay, let's go ahead and solve for P here. So we're going to have 120,000 divided by C equals P. All right. Now that I have that, I have the dealer regains this $120,000 investment by selling all but 4 cars at an average profit of $2,500 each. How many cars has the dealer sold, and what is the average price per car? So all but 4 would mean the number of cars minus 4 times, now we're selling them at a profit of 2,500, and profits would be above. So, too many zeros. So there we go. And we're looking at regaining that 120,000. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to replace P with 120,000. Now, I'm just saying it does not matter which one you solved for earlier, C or P, but because I already did this one prior, okay, to make sure I worked out all the numbers, I wanted to note that solving for P has distinct advantages, because if I solve for C here, Notice I would be multiplying 120,000 times 2,500. All right, by solving for P, I'm going to avoid that large multiplication. So here we have C minus 4 times 120,000 over C plus 2,500. So we go ahead and distribute, and we'll have 120,000 minus 480,000 over C plus 2,500 C minus 10,000 equals 120,000. Now, notice we have 120,000 both sides. I'm going to clean that up. It goes away. Okay, you can multiply everything by C just like we did in the last ones. Okay, so that's going to give me negative 480,000 plus 250,000, or 2,500 C squared minus 10,000 C equals 0. I'll just rewrite in standard form just so it's a little easier figuring out A, B, and C for the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, and now we're going to write C equals, we're going to have 10,000 plus or minus the square root of negative 10,000 squared minus 4 times 2,500 times 480,000. Sorry about that, running out of room, all over 2 times 2,500 times 2. So when you type this in, all right, one thing to notice is, all right, the numbers are very large. So one thing we might be able to do is, since all of the numbers, okay, were divisible by 100, we can actually go back, all right, because our calculators might not hold this because of character limits, is divide everything by 100. So we'll get 25C squared minus 100C minus 400, or 4,800. Okay, we're just going to go ahead, and if you're wondering what I did, just got rid of 2 zeros on each one by dividing everything by 100. So now if I use that Pythagorean theorem, it's a little bit easier. Okay, so it's going to be plus 100. Let's see if I can clean that up. Plus 100. All right, plus or minus the square root of negative 100 squared minus 4 times 25 times negative 4,800 all over 2 times 25. Now that will be equal to, since I have a little bit more room, I think I can do this, and I can talk about why I never considered the negative options earlier. So 100 squared minus 4 times 25 times negative 4,800 is 490,000. All over 50. And that would be 100 plus or minus 700 all over 50. Now, the reason why I didn't consider any of the negatives in all of this is because when I was going through, we were talking about things. So anytime I realized we were going to get a negative, like negative cars in this case, if I do 100 minus 700, I'll get negative numbers. And I can't have negative cars. And I can't have a negative bus fare. And I can't have a negative time or a rate on a copy machine. Okay, so here we just have to consider 100 plus 700, that's 800, divided by 50 is 16. So how many cars has the dealer sold? Well, the dealer bought, remember this is how many they bought at the beginning, right? So that's how much they bought. So how many cars did the dealer sell? So that means he sold all but 4. So that means he sold 12. Now, at the average cost of what? Well, that's simple. Because if we sold 12 cars, all right, and we made back $120,000, we would just simply do 120,000 divided by 12, and you get your average cost of 10,000. All right. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out and I'll post another video. All right. See you guys.